Welcome to the More Business, More Life podcast. And I'm so excited today. We have Jaime Perez from Organic Cleaning Marin, where they use all organic cleaning. We're going to talk about that, how his mentor actually died, and two or three other people that he worked with from cancer because of the chemicals that they use in cleaning. And so we're going to talk about how he's, moved to having all organic cleaning. And on top of that, from the time that I met Jaime, he was struggling with his business and financially to the point where previous to this, he was living in his car to now having a multiple six-figure business, moving to $1 million business. And we're going to talk about how he transformed his life and how he's giving so much back to his community and his employees. It is an amazing journey, an amazing story. So let's get into this podcast. Jaime, thank you so much for being on the show today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
As this is all about more business and more life, I know we have, a lot of places to go, but just so people understand who you are, let's just talk about a little bit of what you do. And so Jaime owns an organic house cleaning company, and it's a big deal. So maybe tell a little bit about why it's so important to you that you're organic cleaning.
Sure. Well, like you said, my name is Jaime Perez. I'm owner of the Organic Cleaning Marin. And when I started cleaning, was a lot of chemicals involved. And what happened, my mentor died from cancer. And then two of those friends died from cancer. That was a period of probably 3 years. And I knew, and I know now, that they were working over 25 years with a lot of chemicals. So that's why I started. And then when that happened, it's like a light bulb or light come up and say, hey, you're next. Say, no, I don't want to be next. So you have to change it to do better, and not just for me, but for my employees and the people I work for. So I decided to change it. It was not easy, but finally I did it.
Yeah, and so you switched all organic, and
Yes.
and was that a hard shift? I mean, like obviously you did it for life because the people around you were literally dying, and the people you care about and your mentor, and so obviously it made a great enough impact. But I'm sure that consequences maybe that were adverse to that is the added cost, having to come up with organic solutions that work, because I hear a lot of people talk about this, and and we're going to get into other things about your business and how life is so much different for you now and all those things. But just to stick to this organic cleaning, because it is important to me too. Like, how much I care about organic and pesticides, and I have a number of stories that have affected my family in a negative way, and why this is so important. And so I agree with what you're doing. But did it come up like people at first didn't want to pay extra for it, or the costs were higher? Did any of that show up in making this decision?
No, that was because my friend that was and dying, and I don't want to be next. So that was the started, and then it was like I said, was not easy. It was like probably around 3 years to get what I am doing now. Before I started testing products off the shelves and trying to make works, because most of the cleaning chemicals cleaning, you just apply and wipe it down and like that. But with organic, you have to actually do the work, and that's the tricky part, because we use organic cleaning solution, but on the other hand, we have to do the work to make that work, because those products don't work like another products who have their chemicals. So that's just the difference.
So you have to like scrub more, or like I know a big thing you use is heat. You use steam. So you can also use different tools to raise the heat and get the surfaces cleaned with temperature instead of using a chemical.
Exactly. One of the latest tool I got was the steamer. It was the latest because it was one of the last one, but it was I think 3 years ago. I was thinking how I can do this or clean the shower, especially the ground when get a lot of mold without using any chemicals. And I tried, like I said, different products and didn't work the way I want to make the cleaning. So I remember one time and I went online and checked it out different steamer and finally I got one. I bought that and I started practicing because that's when I got new products or new tool, I start doing it until I master, and then I show my employees the way to do it.
Yeah.
I tested first and then I showed them how to do it. So that's the way I did. Cleaning mold and mildew from uh, showers.
Understood. And I think Jaime, how passionate I am about this. And I don't know how many people know this story, but if I can, I'm just gonna just briefly tell a story. But when I was younger, I was able to have enough success to buy a couple acres, and it was a big deal at that time. This is in my late 20s, or I guess almost mid 20s. I think I was like 27 years, I guess about 27 years old, and I bought this house, and it was in the middle of this farming area that was using chemicals, and my wife and I lost 4 pregnancies at that house, and we thought that we couldn't have kids because, like, right when we were moving into that house, when I was 28, my son was born, and then right around that same time is when we were moving in, and then as we had we tried to have other children, we couldn't, and it was not good, and there were specific ones, and so we had several babies that it's called anencephaly, and without getting into that full disease, Texas A&M and Duke University were doing studies, and in the 90 percentile of those specific diseases, they were coming in areas of farming and pesticides, and then we were told by the doctors that maybe we shouldn't try to have children anymore. And when we finally moved out of that house, away from all of those chemicals, we had 2 baby girls. And my kids, you've been
Yeah.
around my family, Jaime. So now I have 3 children, and through that experience, we changed our diet. We changed the chemicals that were in our life. I even lost weight. And I thought, and I had been working out. I still worked out even around the farmland. I used to run all the way around. My block was like 6 miles just to go around the block, so sometimes I would run that. So I was still working out and I was gaining weight. And as soon as I moved away from there, I started losing weight. And so there was so many things I noticed. And the thing that changed was our environment, and our environment was full of pesticides because they were spraying the crops around the
Right.
property that we lived in.
Yeah, that's just very dangerous. And I know, I hear of some stories about people get, not just like what happened with your family, with your wife and you, but they get another disease because the chemicals are really strong. And good thing we have here in Marin in California, they banned a lot of those chemicals now. But there is still some and the food and the cleaning industry, especially in the cleaning industry, is still a lot more than we realize as, because even the blue, to clean the windows, uh, they have a
Yeah.
lot of chemicals and it's not good for us. And that's the miles supposed to be the safest, but it's not.
Right. It's hard for me sometimes when I'm traveling too. And with 2020, we haven't traveled as much, but you go to a hotel and you're ready
Yeah,
to go get into your bed and then it
right.
smells. And I'm
Yeah,
more sensitive to it now because I've
yeah,
removed myself. So I'm not used to smelling those chemicals. And
exactly.
then you go into that hotel room and it's, more chemicals.
Yeah,
And since we are talking about 2020, I think more people have fears because of, the pandemic and, all those things that they want to use more chemicals because they think it's sanitizing.
hmm.
But maybe just for a moment, can you speak how you still can sanitize and it can be safe and be organic and not use these chemicals?
Yes, yes. That's just one thing. I love what to do because during this pandemic, uh, like you said, many people think because they're using a lot of chemical, they're being safe. Best the opposite, because now I just mentioned poison control. They receive more calls than ever because children, are touching all these chemicals, wipes, anything, because people leaves the chemicals in the house, like wipes or another spray. So it's very dangerous. So for me, it's very important, and I am really glad and happy that we are doing organic because uh, it's you know you can clean without chemicals and it's still safe. That's just not we can say a big deal because if you clean like a countertop and where you place your food in the kitchen, just doing with soap and water, that make the trick to clean. But many people want to use like disinfectant or something like that, and they think they will be clean the countertop, but they are getting poison themselves instead cleaning. That's just really, really dangerous for everybody.
And I didn't even think about that, Jaime, because people are sanitizing like every second, or they bring something from outside. They're like spraying it down again or
Yep,
putting the wipes there, that they're leaving it out. Because
yep,
normally maybe you would put that in the cabinet and your little children wouldn't have it. But because you're doing it every second, because you're so worried about sanitizing, then now it's being left out and the kids are getting into their hands. And let alone that, you as an adult, like you said, you're putting all that into your food. You're like wiping
yep,
down your counters every second and then putting more chemicals into your food as you prepare that. So now you're eating it
yep.
and then causing your immune system to go down. So even if it doesn't kill you, your immune system is compromised because it's now trying to combat these poisons that are going in your body. So we're
Yep.
actually doing, like you said, the opposite of actually helping ourselves stay healthy during this pandemic.
Exactly. And one thing we can do, it's just if you don't have to buy a lot of disinfectant or something like that, to especially in the kitchen, because a lot of people who um, cook spend a lot of time on kitchen, just go to the store and get non-toxic dishwasher soap, and that's make the trick to clean all around the kitchen, nothing else. If you want to add a little more something to kill germ or something like that, just add 3T oil, and that's help a lot.
Yeah, tea tree is one that I do. Sometimes even an acupuncturist told me just to have a tincture on the airplane. Even like if you're
Mhm.
worried, just have a little tea tree oil. You could wipe down the armrests,
Yep.
and that's an organic way
Hmm.
to be able to clean and sanitize there. I think lavender is another oil that
Yep.
does that too. I know tea tree is a
Hmm.
big one,
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is beautiful, and it's like opening. And I know also, let's talk a little bit about the business side. Due to all this, at first I know you had told me that business slowed down, all of your reoccurring clients and all those things, but then you've been able to not only recover but really grow your business this year. So maybe talk about what's occurred for you right now in your business.
Yes. Last year was a good year, and this one was good, and we have a great perspective for the years. And then the COVID happened, and we stay home, and just waiting for to reopen. But when 1 week and 2 weeks pass, I remember and say, well, I have to do something. I can't be here because I realize then this one will be more than 2 weeks, will be more than a year. Um, so with zero income, I say, well, they had two options: find a job or pivot my business. And I remember I called you and say, I have a lot of some ideas, and let's talk and see what we can do. And then we decide to do deep cleaning because we were doing a lot of the weekly bi-weekly cleaning. That was the main income. So without that, it was a zero income. So we talk and we decide to do it, and that way or I increase um, the business for everybody, because even for my employees now they're working like 70%, and from 0 to 70%. And the best thing what happened is I'm not working anymore with them. Before I was working with them because I had to make money, but now it's enough money to support myself from the income I got from the company. But it's still working because I got my goals. So, but it's better now, much better than before. Even the last year, uh, I think whatever would happen with the COVID, I think it was the best thing happened to me.
So yeah, you've found a lot of things that have been positive in this situation, and so you're able to, retain your employees instead of having to lay people off. You're able to continue to work. You've been able to, do the deep cleanings, and then when you say, just to make sure I'm clear, you're not working in the business, you're not out there cleaning the houses with your team anymore, you're working on the business, and so you're still working to hit your goals, but um, you're doing it by working the business, growing the business, not cleaning. Is that what you mean?
Yes, I'm not cleaning anymore. That's why I'm here with you, because the team worked today, and that's the best thing, because I am even I getting more business because I not work, I not cleaning with them. That way everybody win. They do more and I get more, so it's really nice.
Yeah, so you're able to go get more business and do business development, do marketing, work on other elements of the business, even hiring more
Yeah,
people, and then they can keep doing the cleanings, and then you're employing and giving business to more folks.
yeah, exactly. And I hired one person, I think 2 months ago, something like that, during the pandemic.
Yeah. So even during this time, you're hiring. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm planning, and now I am thinking I need to one more person because I don't want to go back to cleaning, because all the job is coming and it's coming. So now I am thinking, well, I need one more person.
Well, that's so it's so exciting to hear, and I do want to come back to that, but I also want to take a moment to reflect back. So this wasn't always the way that it has been, and you and I've known each other for some years now, so I know that there was some tough times, and even around the time that you and I had met. So um, and I just also want to say congratulations on, how far you've come,
Thank you.
but just to help some of the people that are listening, to know your transformation, to know where you've come from. Can you maybe share a little bit about, what it was like before having the success you have now?
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was my life, the whole life, because your life reflects your business, and so everything was really bad. I was in a relationship and a marriage because I divorced. It was really bad, and in that time when I met you, I was uh, living literally on the street because I was sleeping in one of my cars, and I don't think I have at that time enough money. And I remember one day you called me and say, "Hey, what is going on with you?" And say, I remember the day I was in the laundry, doing some laundry, and say, I am living the street. Um, and I think it was the beginning when I know you, and that's the, and I don't feel sad for that, but I think it's everything happened with a reason, and there was one thing that I am always grateful because I know you, and then you help me to do better. After that, I remember that when we talked that night was, I don't know what time was that, but it was at 9, and everything changed. I think it was been 3 years from now, 4 years. But the beginning, I didn't have enough money to provide for myself, like for a room or apartment or something like that. Even for food, it was really bad. But now it's the opposite. And now like yesterday, I was with my daughter uh, having breakfast. It's really nice. You can provide for your family, and we help a lot. We are helping people in another country in Latin America. We support my family, my girlfriend family. So we are happy. And it's the best thing that happened to me is know you, because in that time was really bad, and then we make like a map, and now I know where I want to go. So just working, sometimes it's hard because sometimes the life is not easy, but you have to go and do it. But like now, right now, like I said, we're happy. I am happy with my relationship and my income. I have a good life right now, but I want a better life.
Yeah.
So because always we had to shoot for more, like I don't know if you or somebody told me, dream big and do it. Start working that. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, well, and I appreciate you sharing that story. And because even going back, I do remember when you signed up for one of my courses, I didn't know that at the beginning, I did not know that you didn't have that much money. And then you told me years later that you only had $200 left in your checking account when you signed up for that class. I don't know if I would have let you sign up for the class because I would not have wanted to take your last dollars. And then but then that course changed your life. And I remember the moment you told me, you said, I think when you finally told me that, it was the time that you brought your daughter to one of our classes again, and you said that at that time you couldn't afford to come to my class, but you figured a way to do it. And then now you were able to take your daughter to the most expensive restaurant in Marin and pay for the bill and no problem, whatever she ordered on the menu. And that's like that moment that of change, right? It's
exactly. Yeah, I remember I was talking with my girlfriend yesterday about that, telling that I don't remember how much was the class for you, and was more business, more life. And I say, I have the exactly amount, but well, only $1 left in my checking account. And said, but I take the risks because when we talk, I knew you wanna. I felt something in you, and I inside of me and say, I know he can help me. Even I don't have money, but I'm gonna go for it. And I think that's one of the best decision I ever made, then it's affect me for, I think it will be affected for my whole life. Because if I think if I didn't take that risk, I don't think I'd be here with you.
Yeah, it's been and well done. And whether that was me or somebody else, but just that you felt that we could help, and then when I did start to work with you more, I knew I could help you, and I saw in you that you were going to take action. And I mean, like, you basically invested all that you had and in yourself. And you look at it as like, at that time you were paying me, and two, I didn't know that that was the last of your dollars. I think, I look back and I guess it must have been meant to be that I didn't know, because seriously, I might not have let you sign up. I might have told you to do something else, because I would not want to take anyone's last dollars. But then looking back, it must have been meant to be, because you and I both look at the evidence, and now, you know, you know, multiple six figures, like,
Oh, yes.
thousands and thousands of dollars have come to you and your families. And like you said, supporting so many things. And you've even, been cleaning homes with children that have cancer and dealing with that. And you've been giving and giving so much in the community. And now and you've been awarded one of the best cleaning companies by multiple organizations in this area. So, not only have you been able to earn enough to take care of you now and fill up your bank account how you need to, but supporting your families, and also supporting the community, and now being an award-winning cleaning company. Like, yeah, the last 3-4 years have been completely transformative.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how that happened when you take action and sometimes one decision changed everything. And this time I did the right decision. And like you said, in this year, this is one of the most I will remember this year, because in February we honor with the place honor in the IJS and local newspaper. And July we can another award. This is very important here in Marin, the Pacific Sun. So we are honored two times this year, and like the best cleaning company here in Marin. So I really happy what's going on, and it's a lot to do. You have to take action, and what your mentor tell you to do. In this case, you try to do. I can't do the 100%, but I do a lot.
Yes, and you have, and the results have shown. And so, since we're talking about those results, and to bring more value to our audience today, what has, out of all the things you've learned from me, what would you say is, and maybe we can do more than one, but let's start with one. What would be the number one thing that you would share, that has given you the most value from what you learned from me?
Your knowledge is something that you know it's a lot. And I remember when I met you, and one thing would change and everything changed. I remember change the language in my website, just for doing that little tricky part, change everything. And I remember saying, you know what, it's working. It's a lot of people's coming, calling. And I think that was one thing I always remember. We changed the language. You told me, say, why? Because I in that time I was doing my marketing. I was doing everything, including my website. And I remember you say, let's change a little bit, just the language. And I think that was uh, the most important, because that started everything. And so, I think you have the knowledge for any business to change a little bit, sometimes a little tweak, but that little thing change everything. And this we can start with that, the
Yeah.
language.
It's so big. I mean, like in all my marketing knowledge, the thing that I boiled it down, because I was always looking at how do I make it more simple? How do I make it more simple? Because, we don't need to have business. Business doesn't have to be difficult. In fact, we tend to make it more complicated. But what I realized after years of doing marketing, there's two main things that I found that went wrong. Number one, people were trying to work with the wrong person, or number two, it was the wrong message.
Yep.
And those were the things. And then when I looked at what you were doing, when I remember looking at what Jaime was doing, obviously he was identifying with the community because he was working in one geographic area, which was Marin County, and then working with, those households, and even being in a more affluent area, they're more curious about working with organic, even paying extra to work with organic material. So you were in the right audience, but then the words that were coming up on your website were not identifying right. So I do remember that we worked on getting the exact right words that we're going to convert on your website, and we made those changes quite quickly. I think within a week.
Yep.
You had made the changes on your website, and I do remember now when you called me and you said you're getting, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said you got like 4 times the amount of incoming calls.
Yep, exactly. That was that. And I remember when you said, if the people want red, why you want to do blue? If they're asking for red, so let's do it red. That's just simple like that.
Yeah.
It was very simple, but it was good. Good move.
Yeah. And what Jaime's talking about is there's a message that I give on one of my speeches where I use the colors as a metaphor, but ultimately I'm saying give them what they're asking for. And so all I asked Jaime, I remember what I did. I said, well, what are your wow clients, the ones that you love working with? What do they want? And then you started to tell me, and I think you even went and asked a few of them. And I said, okay, take their exact words, the things that they're saying, and put that on your website. And that's all we did. We took the words right from the client, which I often do, and I often teach this, put it on your website, and then more people started calling.
Exactly. Yeah, simple like that. Sometimes, you just ask your client what they want, or ask, like you say, not survey, but just ask them what they want, what they should be doing, and they will tell you. I always ask everybody. Now I ask everybody, what we did good and how we can improve, and they always come up with something, and then I use it for my marketing, to promote website or anything, or social media.
It's so important. And I've worked with billion-dollar companies and their ads weren't working. And I said, have you asked them what they want? And then as soon as we do that, we change the whole direction, and sometimes into millions of dollars. So this is not something I did one time. You do it very, very often. And, I came from film school. So I went to film school. So being very, very creative, it actually hurt me at the beginning of my marketing career, because I would create all these ideas in my head and put them into the commercials. And then the commercials would not work. They didn't work. Like the money did not come. And then I was like, what's going on? It baffled me. I thought, oh, I made this great commercial. It's so funny, but it was not saying the right words. And then when I actually made a commercial that from an artistic standpoint, I would say is not as good, but I said the right words, then it actually converted better. And you can do both. You can make a very creative ad and make it really fun to watch, or you can make videos and put them on YouTube now and social media. When I started in marketing, I was doing 30-second commercials, because this was in the 1990s before social media. And that's when I started to realize the words I say need to hit the mark. And many great marketers, that this is what they know. And I've even seen big advertising agencies and big companies miss the mark because they get complacent. They put the wrong words and they spend a lot of money and they don't get the results they want. And I think that was the main lesson that I had really taught you at that point. and you listened to me. You know, you took action. So the results came because you went and asked the questions, you put the words on the website, the result came, and then we were able to work together more because you were able to afford to, you know, we did a lot more together because you were making more money, and you kept growing, and you wanted to have more help, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's it's one of the best thing ever happened. You know, uh, find the right person, and for me, you are the right person. You know, because I've been in a different people, or you know, now with webinars and everything, and it works. But for me, because I know you know me, and we have been working for about 3 years. I think that's the one thing I learned is what you told me: take action and do it, and simple like that, you know. And I think that's just the one of the best thing that happened.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, besides you know, changing the language, I think um what I guess I'm curious, and actually let's stay on this for a second. So once you changed that language and you started having the results of more calls, what did having that do for you?
um, that was a turning point, and I start having more income. So when I have more income, I was able to do more for myself and for my family, even for the business change.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And then what came next? I don't remember. Do you remember after that result, what was the next biggest thing that we worked on?
Yes, we start working and training my team. That was another one, big one, because if you're gonna leave the company, I need someone who will stay and do the same quality job I did, or I do. So they that was the training, you know, and that was the, I think, that was the big one.
Yeah. Yep, I remember that. And you know, something to give you a lot. You actually decided this before you met me. When you and I started talking about your team, you know, Marin is a more expensive area to live in California, and you made a choice to only hire people that work in Marin and to pay them more, because a lot of the other cleaning companies that you compete against, they hire staff that live very far away so they can hire them for a cheaper price and have them drive in to work here. And you said that's not a good quality of life. This was not even my suggestion. I want to give you credit. You decided this before you met me, and so you were doing that. But then adding in the extra benefits, and you know, buying meals for your team and training them around English, speaking English, and all those things. You know, you've done a lot with your team, and it's been great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one of my goals with my team is that part of the income, use it, my income for my company, using for them. I pay them more than average here in Marin, because I know, for my experience, it's not easy to live here. So I pay them more than the minimum, more than every another company. And what I want is, everybody who work for me, they can live without any support, outside support. They can live with what I am, what they are doing or making in my company. So that's just one goal I have, and because I always tell them, you know, if you, um, you know, I always put a goal in front of them, and when they meet that goal, I increase um, their income. So, and that's just one of your ideas, because I always say, oh yeah, they're been for a year, I'm gonna increase. They say no, that, you know, let them do the
Performance.
performance. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's and then it becomes a game, and then you can all win together, because if the company achieves more, then you can afford to pay more. It becomes like this win-win that we have in all of training your team. Which element do you think was the biggest as we were working together on that? If you were to pick, because I know there was many things we worked on, but what has made the greatest impact on your team?
I think when I training, like you told me to do, train one person. I think this is one of the big ones. And then that person train the another one, and then the another one. It's like having a system.
Yes.
Now, I'm not training them. Well, I do, but it's not like every day. But somebody else training another
Yes.
one.
Yes.
There's something that's another idea came from you. You can be out because you have to train one and then another one, train another one, and so on and on and on. And
And
I
it
think,
also helps their learning. One thing that I learned many years ago is that they say there are these levels when we learn. If you want to learn something, you can read about it. If you want to get good at it, then you need to do it. And if you want to master it, you need to teach it. So when one thing I'm a big fan of, which you just illustrated, is when your team, when you train your team and then they start training other team members, their mastery goes up. They start learning at a higher level because they're not just required to do the job, they need to be able to teach the job. And when you have to teach the job, you automatically go to another level. Martial arts use this, like a lot of different martial arts. When you go up in your belts, like from a white belt to, yellow, red, like all the different colors or however it goes, right? By the time when you get to black belt, you've already started to teach way before black belt. Like, so usually whenever you're there, you're always working with the people that are starting out. And that I really do see as, and I haven't studied all martial arts and even not that much, but when you watch that, it's the same type of system. Not only are you learning the next level for you to go up in the next belt, but you're teaching the ones before you, and then your level of learning goes up.
yeah, exactly. And I can see it because, I usually, I like to check it out, always the type, the quality of the jobs. And I always was my worry, but after probably 2 months, that worry was out because now I am confident and I know they can do it because I trained it,
Yeah.
and now I know they will do an excellent job. So I just send it to, um, uh, out there and do the job, and I can do more business and
So it's
have
so
more life.
beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing all this. And to kind of tee up my next question, I'm just to recap, so you went from, not having enough money, even living in your car, to now building your business up and being able to pay more, pay your employees more, have more business. Your marketing is working. You're getting more clients. You're training your team. Now your team is training others. You're not cleaning anymore in the houses. You're working on the business and you're growing. And so you're paying more team members, you're hiring more team members, and you're growing the business. With all of that happening, what is that brought? What is having that do for you in your life?
Well, that's just beautiful because, like the class I got with you, more business, more life. So now I am doing more business. I have more life. I have better life. Now I am not living in the street. I have a place to stay. It's a beautiful. You can see in my background. It's
Yeah.
beautiful where I live. Um, I have. I always give flowers to my girlfriend, and actually, she gave me this 2 days ago. Um,
Beautiful.
because we love where we live, and we have the environment is just beautiful, and that's because I have enough income to provide for myself and to others. You know, it's been 4 years, but it's worth it to work it and do it. And yeah, like I said, the first class I went with you, more business, more life. Now the life is for me is very different. My daughter, I was talking to her yesterday, and she said to me, "Daddy, you are happier than ever." Because I always smiling now, because my business is growing and I have more life. And like yesterday I was having a breakfast with her, and now I am trying to help my one of my daughters is in third grade, spending time in soon. Like on Mondays, I go with her and trying to help her to do her homework. And now I'm trying to have more time with her.
Yeah.
Going and Google and I am learning. I'm going to learn more about the third graders because I want to help more to my daughter. So that's because I have more business.
Yeah. So it is exactly the title of this show and what we've done together, more business, more life. You're having both at the same time and being able to spend more time. So I'm just curious then, what's next after having all this success and coming from all the things that have occurred in your life? Like what's your next big goal? Like what is your focus now?
Um, because right now I have a six figures company. I want to have now the next goal is having a million dollars company. That's at the next step, and I'm working in that.
That's so beautiful. And what do you have? What is your goal? Like, do you think that's going to be a year or 3 year goal, or what
Um,
is the goal that you would like to have $1 million,
uh, you
a
know,
$1 million a year company?
yeah, that's it. We figured out 5 years, but I think I can do in 3 years. That's just the goal. It's 5 years, no stretch goal, but 3 years my goal. So I think the way it's going now, I think I am the right direction, and it's going well. So I think I am I think at the right time, the right moment, just keep going, keep going.
Right. Well, and no matter what, within 3 years on the direction that you're going, you'll have made over $1 million. But then to do 1 million a year each year, that is the goal for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. The goal is minimum is a million, but it will be million plus.
Yeah, million plus.
Yeah,
And when you have that, when you grow the business to 1 million a year, what will having that do for you and your staff?
I think at that point I'll be available to do more for them. Like I said, I want my employees can have a better life here in Marin, which is expensive, and like a big part of the income I use to pay them, and like every month we have a fun day, which I pay that day for like a regular 8 hours, and we go to the beach or we go to the park and we have lunch, and sometimes breakfast and lunch, and I pay everything. I pay the day and pay all the expenses. So if I got $1 million company, I think even one idea came from you too, was pay some of the money for childcare for them.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of idea, but we can do more for them.
Yeah. So to be able to do more for your staff, and that is amazing, Jaime, like how much you care about people, doing organic cleaning, and then how much you care about your staff, and then the things that you've been doing, for families that are dealing with cancer. Because then if you're dealing with that and you're healing in cancer, having chemicals in your house is even worse. So, so even though you haven't reached 1 million a year, you're already doing it. You're already having fun days for your employees. You're already giving back by doing free cleanings. Like you're going into homes. So maybe talk a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about your program to help families that are dealing where their children or themselves have cancer.
Yes, that was another idea. Then became and came a reality. Have a nonprofit for children with cancer, family with children with cancer. What we do is once a month we go and clean for no charge for them, and I've seen a lot of happy faces with that program because when children go through the chemotherapy, this immune system will go down, and they have to be very careful what you eat, what you wear, and especially what you clean inside the houses, because it's very dangerous in those uh, the time of the chemotherapy. So I decide to go and do free for them. And one more thing that happened when my staff go and clean those houses, which is free, I pay them like a $5 more per hour because they're doing that. So it's I love what I do because I am helping them and I help in my community. And the nonprofit is called Cleaning for Kids, and you know, we are happy to do that. And everybody in my team, they're happy to do it.
That's so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for giving so much. And, I appreciate what you're doing for the community. I mean, even just on a regular job, you're taking chemicals away, so you're making it healthier for the world and being an example of how we can clean without chemicals. So, and that is part of stopping cancer because if we get rid of some of those chemicals, maybe we won't have to deal with cancer, So I know it's one of the elements, but it's something that is amazing. And we're getting close to the end of the show, and this has been a great exploration. I'm just curious if someone only got to talk to you right now, and this is the only time they heard you, and you were going to give a tip from something in this to have more business and more life. What's the number one thing you would advise someone if they said, Jaime, it's so great. You have all this success and you've learned all these things. I want to have more business and more life. And you only could teach them one thing. What would be the number one thing you would tell them to do?
Get mentor, get a Steve. you know, when you do something alone and you try to figure out everything, you can't. I mean, maybe it will take 50 years, 40 years, I don't know. But like had to do like marketing or work with your emotions, your limited beliefs. Uh, that's just one thing you can help. So the best way to do is get a mentor, you
Yeah.
know, uh, and that's just, I think that you can do it without mentor. Maybe you can figure it out for this. It'll take a lot of time and a lot of efforts and a lot of pain. So one thing I can say, get a mentor, get a Steve.
Yeah, get whoever works and like you said, it's different for anyone and there are many people out there that can help people find the person that you resonate with and go ask for that help. And I always say it collapses time. It collapses time. It makes it shorter. You can do this in a shorter period. It's kind of like going to a neighborhood and not having GPS or not having a map. You're going to take a long time to find where you're going. But if you have the exact address and you have the exact map and you can go turn by turn and know exactly where you're going, you're going to be able to get where you're going much faster. And I think for me, I will never go. I agree with you, Jaime. I will never go without mentor or coaching the rest of my life. And even though people look at me now, they're like, well, you have success. What do you need now? Well, there's so many things. Now I'm hiring people after my business success, I hired more help with my relationship. How can I have a better relationship with my wife? How can I have a better relationship with my children? I'm still investing in that. I'm still making that better. I want to learn about farming. I'm learning more about music. I'm learning about health. I'm still learning about business or how to invest in different areas. Like anywhere where I'm curious, why would I not hire someone that knows how to do it better than me? Why would we not? Because, we could learn so much faster, and then we can do more in this life and not have to figure it out by ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think for now on, I don't think I'm gonna do something without a coach or a mentor, because, like you said, somebody else did it before, and they got the knowledge, maybe a shortcut or something like that. They figured it out already, and just go and ask and do it.
It's so beautiful, Jaime. I'm so glad that we got to spend this hour together and talk about your journey. And I'm so happy for you that you have this success, that you're able to take care of your daughters and your family, and to give to all the families in Marin, organic house cleaning. And it's just a beautiful thing. You're a very giving man, and I'm grateful to have you in my life, and grateful that I've been able to help you as well. And I'm also grateful that you're on the show and you're willing to be vulnerable and share your story. I think it's very useful for others. So thank you for being on the show, Jaime.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to give me to be with you. I am very grateful for knowing you and guide me to this like a hurricane in my life. And now it's past. Maybe something come up in the future, but I know we can go through those turbulence time. But and if we, stand together, I know we can go through anything. You know?
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much again, Jaime, for being on the show. And if those of you are listening want to learn, we'll put in the show notes, Organic Cleaning Marin. You can take a look at his website. We'll put that in with the links here. And so you can take a look. And if you want to get to know Jaime and his company more, and then you know how to get a hold of me. And remember, as always, choose gratitude and create freedom. We'll see you on the next show. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to the More Business, More Life podcast. I hope you got value. And if you did, we have so many more things for you at stevenapolitan.com. You'll be able to connect with us on social media. We are active. You can ask us questions. And then on top of that, I want to give you a really big gift. And it truly is. We want to give so much value. We have an offering. It's a program called Clear Path to Customers. It's the same way that we attract wow clients and only working with the right people, the people we want to. And it's transformed my business into millions more in revenue with the right people and my clients. And we're doing it absolutely free. So you can go to stevenapolitan.com and grab that. You just got to put in your information. We'll send it to you promptly. And that again is on stevenapolitan.com. I look forward to having you on the next show. Until then, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.